Going for a little post-dinner stroll along the mighty Mekong River in Thailand. That's Laos right over there. Right over there. Can you see it? See those little dots? We're going there tomorrow. Crossing the border into Laos was pretty uneventful, aside from our bus breaking down right at the gate and needing to get a second one. Once the second one was there, it wasn't long, just a short ride down to the river where we would meet our captain and his family, and for the next 300 kilometers, it was nothing but us and the Mekong River. We set off from Huay Xai on a 2-day journey down the Mekong, and as you sat there and looked out over the river and over the mountainsides, you really get a feel for how completely ancient this land is. Whole civilizations have probably come and gone, and here it still is. As I sat there, I found myself confronted with questions that everybody has from time to time. What are my goals? What am I doing? Where am I going? After all, I thought these things should be a little more concrete by now. I mean, I don't feel old, but I should probably have things a little more figured out by now. Seriously, I went on tour at 30. I decided to farm at 40. I'm doing YouTube at 50. Is this even normal? For the past 15 years, I've been landlocked in the Great Plains of North America, where the only language I hear for 1,000 miles in any given direction is my own. Wanderlust was starting to rear its head, and somehow it made things seem a little more familiar and a little more normal. There's such a sense of peace as you move down this river. It just reminds you to let things go, let the past be the past, and stop worrying about the future, and just be present in the moment. Who knows if you're ever going to be here again? Who knows if you're ever going to see these people again? Just be present in the moment. For the first time since we all met, we had time to sit down and get to know each other. We played games. We played with a young boy that lived on the boat. We had awesome meals cooked by the family that owned the boat, and just enjoyed the scenery and enjoyed the peacefulness of going down the Mekong River until we slowly, eventually found ourselves in a small village called Pak Beng. After a nice butterfly pea welcome drink, I settled into my room, which is much more rustic than the other ones. No air conditioning or anything, but it was so beautiful. It didn't need it. It was actually nice and cool. I just sat there and just looked out over the river and the mountains and just took it all in. So beautiful. After getting settled in and relaxing for a little bit, we headed into more of the center of town. Pak Beng is actually about 30,000 people, but it's really hard to tell, honestly. It looks like a very small town. I wanted to do a little more recording in the marketplace, but unfortunately there were a lot of kids running around without pants on, so it's kind of awkward to have a camera out. But people were selling everything from frogs in bags to herbs to rice to chickens to you name it. We were actually heading towards a monastery when we ran across these guys playing Sepak Takraw, which is basically volleyball with your feet. Broadcast of government politics and news over loudspeaker through the whole town eventually was replaced by the sound of monks chanting their evening chant as we finally found our way to the monastery.
Have you waters made from sticky rice with yeast? But how strong? 45%. Oh. Yeah. 45%. Anyone who want to try it, just try it. Okay?
This is where I discovered my favorite dish of the trip, I think. Lao lup, or lao larb, or lob. It's pronounced a bunch of different ways. It's basically, this one was water buffalo, bean sprouts, rice, dried rice, and lots of herbs and seasonings. This would make a great cold weather dish, to be honest. After that, we hit the Happy Bar and had some 80-cent beer Lao and hit the stack before we had to head out in the morning. Breakfast is a little interesting in that it was actually an Indian restaurant that was across the street from where we were staying. So, of course, lots of fresh fruit and eggs and stuff, but lots of Indian style food. And I actually talked to the owner for a little bit. He was showing me curry plants and butterfly pea plants and all sorts of different things. I was actually really amazed at the amount of corn that they plant in this area. Coming from a corn growing state, I was really surprised. They just grow it right on the side of the mountain, and I don't think even our side hill combines would do the side of that mountain. They pick it all by hand. They don't really have a good way to get around the corn stalks to replant, so generally they just burn off the stalks so they can get in there and replant their next crop. Soon we came across kind of a depressing sight. It is actually a huge hydroelectric dam that China is building in Laos, keeping in mind that Laos's biggest export is hydroelectricity. This is a massive dam, and I don't think China really gave Laos any options. I think they just kind of said, hey, we're building this. I'm not really sure if Laos gets any of the money from it or if it powers any of their cities. I don't know, it's just a little depressing. Before arriving at Luang Prabang, we stopped at the Pakao Caves and checked out all the Buddhas, which is pretty interesting, to be honest, but the stairs are covered with kids that are relentlessly trying to sell you bracelets, string, snacks, water, all sorts of things, and you kind of feel like their parents are sitting there hidden, forcing them to try and sell you stuff. I didn't really want to encourage the behavior. I also didn't want these kids to not have any money and get scolded by their parents. It kind of puts you in a really awkward position as a Westerner, and some of the people decided to buy stuff. Some of us didn't. I didn't personally, but it's a pretty cool place to see. There's just a lot of stairs to go up. And again, my knee was not really cooperating, so I only went about halfway up. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I apologize for all the narration, but I was really trying to be present in the moment. This scenery is just so beautiful. It's overwhelming, and it was kind of hard to just take it all in. So if you enjoyed the video, why don't you go down and do the thing with the buttons down below. Next time we're going to be over in Luang Prabang, and we're going to check out some villages that are pretty far out in the jungle and just check and see how they live. They're kind of off the map, to be quite honest. And before you leave, though, go down and check out that G Adventures link and see if there's any trips that you think I should do, because I don't really know what I want to do for my next one, but I definitely want to do another trip. Maybe you can help me pick one.